We'll call this meeting to order. The Sacramento City Council, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Kaplan. Here. Councilmember Dickinson is expected momentarily. Vice Mayor Talamantes. Here. Councilmember Pluckybaum. Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gatta.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
I'm here, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Vang. Here. And Mayor McCarty.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you.
So good afternoon and welcome to the Sacramento City Council meeting. Members of the public who wish to address the council should complete a speaker slip which can be found at the back of the room. Speaker slips need to be turned into the clerk prior to the beginning of each item. We will no longer accept speaker slips after the item begins. You will have 2 minutes to address the council and the timer will be on the screens behind me. So that everyone has the opportunity to address the council, members of the public are asked to observe the rules of decorum. The council rules of procedure outline decorum expected in chambers and can be found on our website. A copy is in the back of the room and is summarized on the back of the speaker slip. For instance, use of swear words, yelling from the audience, physically threatening conduct, and displays of disrespect are discouraged. The presiding officer will request that a person cease disruptive conduct, and if not immediately stopped, the presiding officer will ask the person to leave the meeting. This meeting is being video streamed and can be viewed later or live on our city's website. And if you also need a parking validation, they can be picked up from the clerk at the front of the room. So, Mr. Mayor, who would you like to have to do the land acknowledgement this afternoon?
Mr. Dickinson.
All right, thank you. Please rise if you are able. This is for the opening acknowledgement in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin, Winton, and the peoples of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together here today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Madam City Attorney, do we have a report out from closed session?
There is Mayor and council met in closed session to discuss one item of litigation as listed on the agenda, and there's nothing to report out at this time.
Thank you. So, Mr. Mayor, we'll go to the consent calendar. I do have 3 speakers on consent. Would you like to take those first or ask your colleagues if they have comments?
Yes, would any council members would like to pull any items from the consent calendar or flag for discussion? Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. Brief discussion on item 4 and comments on item 11.
Councilmember Maple.
Comments on item 10 and item 20.
Okay, so noted. Let's proceed now with public comment, please.
So I have 3 speakers, Mackworthy, Henry Harry, and Lambert. Let's make that 4. After Lambert is Kim Stephens. Mr. Worthy is speaking on item 1.
People, this is infrastructure. Now, we can show you where water been backed up at least since I was 19 years old and still haven't been cut loose because your engineering here is very poor engineering, and they know it. You have to pump water up in places in order to get it to drain. You let your leaves get wet and dry up and clog your drainage system. So this should be something that I would ask the government to put sanctions on plans for you for the infrastructure because you've been lying for many, many years and still haven't done anything to that drain. Nothing. And then we got other things in here that you got set up that you should talk to the people when you're going to put the private sector with the government, how much is nonprofit and how much that's funded. So these are the things that people, did you have an audience, do you have constituents ask you questions? No, that's the problem with this. That's the reason I can refer to you as a whole house of government. And I'm gonna continue to do that until I see better. And then from Washington D.C., I'm gonna see better because some things here that I want the FBI agency to take a look with me. Oh, it's not snitching, it's coming out public and let you know. I told them to look at it. So wake up to what's going on here on the consent calendar, but you're not educating your constituents. They voted for you to represent them. We saw some of the other times that nobody made comments. We saw some of the parliamentarian procedures, only one person know those parliamentarian procedures. Other people vote no, yes. It would never end the discussion. Wake up, people.
Thank you for your comments. Henry Harry on item 20.
Just super quick here. In reading this item, it just concerned me that we may be spending money here, and I know it's some federal money that's coming in, on something that may not be necessary. I'm no expert on this, but this item talks about spending money to enhance telecommunications and Wi-Fi connectivity to the underserved community. Now, if you're in Sacramento City, like most of us, I can take out my cell phone, I can hit the Wi-Fi connection, and most of you council members can connect up to it and do your business. So I'm not comfortable if we're just grabbing federal money just because it's there.
Next speaker is Lambert on item 21, and then Kim Stevens on item 2.
Yes, I'm here to speak on item 21. I wanted to send some shouts out to the people. I was impressed with District 2 Representative Dickerson, who came in and barely got in his seat, and they threw him right to acknowledgement. You have to know what you're doing to be thrown in there like that. That kind of reminds me of the Pacers under pressure. The vice mayor, Telemontes, I like that selection. We need some fresh views. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, I mean, what more can I say if I endorse you? Also, Mai Vang has been appointed to race equity. We need different views, and she has different views that I agree with. Shout out to Team Heart and Hustle, and congratulations on your wedding. And last but not least, a lot of my elders and family members and friends, they voted for Mr. Dickerson years ago, and he's returning back at a great time to stabilize a district that was in chaos. And so hopefully things will change, and that's it.
Thank you for. Kim Stevens on item 2 is our final speaker on the consent calendar.
First of all, good afternoon and congratulations, each of you. To my district leader, Mai Vang, congratulations. We appreciate your hard work and dedication. I'm here today to first of all, welcome. I'm sorry. But I'm here today to speak about Revitalize South Sacramento. I have reached out to all of the South area council members and our pro tem to ask for your participation and support because as he just eloquently said, sometimes things are in chaos and we need our leadership. We need our constituents, our partners, our individuals, our families. Everyone needs to know that our voices are being heard. We are creating a safe space for you to tell us what's going on in your specific districts and how we can come together and work together, identify the things that are going right, identify the things that are not going right, identify things of opportunities of improvement. And the only way that we can do that is if you come into space. So I plead with you, I ask you to please respond to the emails that have been sent, to accept the invite to the Revitalized South Sacramento Summit that will be held on Wednesday, February 19th. Your appearance, your presence is much needed and appreciated. It's only for 2 hours. We ask of you to please respond to our communication. Also, you can visit our website at www.t like the, S like Stevens, -found, FOUND.org, and you will find more additional information. And again, I want to say welcome. It's nice to see familiar faces and new faces, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Shall we take colleagues?
Yes, please.
I have Councilmember Kaplan on item 4 and 11.
Thank you. On item 4, just want to bring to our attention as we look at our community facilities district. This is a lot of where our homeowners and others are taxed to help with streetscape maintenance, mowing, park maintenance. And I just want to highlight and make sure, because this was something I brought up last year specifically, how it affects some of our areas that least get a little love and tender care of having to pay more and getting less in mowing and streetscaping. As we face this budget deficit, how are we making sure that there is equity across the city so that areas that, don't have specific HOAs and fees are making sure that they are getting mowed, twice a month. And then just want to follow up on city staff. As we were able to secure additional one-time funding, what does that look like for discussions again, as we know maintenance fees are going to be coming back around, and just paying attention because some of our CFDs are running overages and not meeting because of the cost of going up. So something that I just wanted to call out that we make sure we monitor, because I think it's the little things with our community members that matter the most, and having mowed lawns and mowed streetscapes and taking care of sidewalk issues is very important. Moving on to item 11, I just want to call out and thank you. We all know what's been happening down in LA for the past week, which is absolutely devastating, especially for those in a historically African-American area who have lost their houses. Schools have been lost. People are out of jobs. Kids have nowhere to go, and we are always better when we're together. So I want to thank our leadership within our fire department and others, especially California Task Force 7 Urban Search and Rescue Team for going down, and the many others in our region, because this is where California shines when we all come together, and they deserve a thank you for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Maple on items 10 and 20.
Thank you. First, both of these items, I'll just say more broadly, there's so many things in our city because of our budget challenges and because of the work that we do that rely on grants. And it takes an enormous amount of work from our city team to make these grants a reality, and many of these are very, very competitive. And so they're putting together wonderful grant applications that are incredibly competitive, that are getting selected time and time again. So just want to really call out the incredible team, in particular on item 10, the Fruit Ridge Road Safety and Mobility Plan. So that's from Fruit Ridge Road to from Stockton Boulevard, to I-5, is another great example of this. This is the type of thing that our team, our city team hears from us all the time, hears from our constituents about road safety, and this is them putting it into action. So just really want to congratulate the team on the excellent work to improve safety and mobility in South Sacramento. Thank you. And then on item 20, similar comments, but related to connectivity. I know I heard one of the public commenters with questions about connectivity, and I can say that while a lot of people do have access to cell phones and other networks, there's a lot of people who still don't. And we have connectivity issues in a lot of the areas that I represent. We still have underserved communities that are struggling to get connected, and we saw that firsthand during the pandemic, when there were viral videos of students going to the McDonald's or the Taco Bell parking lot to get on Wi-Fi so that they could do their schoolwork. So there's a lot of, this is a hugely important program, and just want to shout out that this is impacting my district in a very positive way, including the Southwind mobile homes on Florin Road. So thank you again to the staff.
Thank you.
We have no more comments from your colleagues?
Okay. We have motion and second on the consent calendar. Motion by Kaplan, second by Guerra. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Aye. Councilmember Dickinson. Vice Mayor Talamontes. Aye. Councilmember Pluckybaum. Councilmember Maple. Aye. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. Aye. Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang. Yes. Mayor McCarty.
Aye.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We move on to the discussion calendar. Item 22 is a report to council following the modifications of sections 5.138.040 and 5.138.060 of the Sacramento City Code relating to tobacco retailer licensing.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I am Sean Bartos with the Community Development Department. I'll be giving you a brief update regarding Title 5.138 of the Sacramento City Code regarding tobacco retailers. A brief timeline. In April of 2019, there were some amendments which included a prohibition on flavored tobacco and also a proximity requirement between retailers. What the proximity requirement is, if there's already a tobacco retailer within 1,000 feet of a new application, the application would be denied and not accepted. Later on that year in August, there were some amendments to the zoning code, which required a conditional use permit for most tobacco retailers. In October of 2020, there was an amendment that allowed for healthy foods exemption. So if a store sold 10% of their shelf was healthy foods and less than 5% of their shelf was tobacco, they can get an exemption to that proximity requirement. When the last amendment was passed, there was 240 tobacco retailer licenses in the city. Fast forward to just under 4 years later, and we have an increase up to 311 now. That's an increase overall of 71 tobacco retailers. Of those 71, 27 open using the healthy foods exemption, while 44 were able to open without that healthy foods exemption. There were about 300 notice of violations issued for flavored tobacco. Most of those were issued at the very beginning when there was a lot of confusion. That's died down a lot since then. There's been some updates to the state law that went into effect at the first of the year. One of them was creating an unflavored tobacco list that will create or end any confusion. So by the end of the year, the Attorney General will have a list compiled of all tobacco products that are unflavored, and if they're not on that list, they will not be able to be sold in California. That includes e-cigarettes that are not FDA approved. Even if they're not flavored, they won't be able to be on that list. It also allows for confiscation of flavored tobacco products by a law enforcement agency, and code enforcement in the city of Sacramento does the enforcement on that, so it would require a code change for us to be able to take that action. As a reminder, we're going to move forward status quo unless council gives us other direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have 5 speakers on this item. Would you like to take them now?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Michael Andrew Barnbaum, Rachel Alvarez, Kimberly Bankston Lee, Mac Worthy, then Plachette Robertson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Michael Barnbaum. I am a resident of District 2. Wanted to speak to this item because it is one that was very touching and emotional to me, particularly over the last year, hearing stories and sit-down conversations at events and house parties when the tobacco industry came up. I would like to see from this report a little bit stronger measures taken that would ultimately, for the love and protection of people, work to eliminate tobacco retail licensing in the city of Sacramento and hopefully beyond. I got to know somebody very well over the last year, and the story was told to me that when they were 11, back in 1994, they lost one of their parents due to the tobacco industry. You know, this was back in the day when a lot more marketing and promotion, billboard advertising, radio and television advertising of the industry was more prevalent. And I think about them and their parent every day when a topic like this comes up. And so I hope that the city can think about, you know, how do we make saving lives more possible in this. And so I would hope that there could be even more extreme measures taken against tobacco retailing. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Rachel Alvarez.
Good afternoon, Mayor McCarty and council members, and Happy New Year, and welcome, to all the new faces. My name is Rachel Alvarez, and I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Greater Sacramento Smoke and Tobacco-Free Coalition. The mission of our coalition is to create smoke and tobacco-free communities in Sacramento County. Our membership is made up of us community members who live and do work in Sacramento County, and I'm providing comment today on behalf of the entire coalition. This council has demonstrated on numerous occasions that it values the health of our community members, especially our young people. Today, we're asking you to make a decision that reinforces that commitment to public health and the future of our young people here in the city of Sacramento. The initial adoption of the menthol and flavored tobacco ban in 2018 was a huge step in protecting our community from the harms of commercial tobacco products. Unfortunately, the adoption of the healthy food exemption in 2020 weakened the ordinance by opening a loophole for tobacco retailers. The coalition is extremely grateful that the report on the status of tobacco retail licenses, or TRLs, following the adoption of the healthy food exemption was shared with this council and the public. And the report very clearly demonstrates that there has been a substantial increase in the number of TRLs issued and active within the city of Sacramento since the adoption of the exemption, which is in direct opposition to the goals outlined in the City of Sacramento's 2040 General Plan. To ensure that the TRL ordinance works as originally intended and to decrease the amount of tobacco products accessible to community members, particularly to our youth and other vulnerable populations, we urge this council to remove the healthy food exemption in its entirety from City Code. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Kimberly Bankston Lee.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to the new and returning members. Congratulations on some of the roles that you all are taking this year. And I'm still here. My name is Kimberly Bankston Lee, and I've been a member of the coalition almost 30 years now. I'm the executive director of the Soul Project. We're grateful for Sacramento's leadership on public health issues and its initial efforts to ban menthol and flavored tobacco in 2018. And as Rachel said, it was one of the strongest policies at that time. However, we're concerned with the healthy food exemption adopted in 2020, and that has unintentionally undermined the efforts. The exemption has not increased access to healthy food in designated food deserts. Hot dogs and chips and soda is not healthy. It has allowed 27 retailers, many not located in food deserts, to obtain tobacco retail licenses. Since 2018, a total of 71 new licenses have been issued. According to the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, there are now 346 tobacco retailers in Sacramento, with 20.5% located within 1,000 feet of a school. This trend is alarming and counterproductive to reducing access to tobacco products. To protect the health of our community, especially our youth and vulnerable populations, best practices for tobacco control include phasing out the sale of all commercial tobacco products, removing the healthy food exemption, ensuring adequate TRL fees for enforcement, and tobacco waste mitigation. making TRLs non-transferable. Sacramento has an opportunity to lead once again by prioritizing public health and taking bold action to reduce tobacco-related harm. We urge you to protect the health of Sacramento residents. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mac Worthy, then Plachette Robertson will be our final speaker.
You know, I had to laugh. I heard this bullshit years ago. You can't show proof of one person died because of smoking. Philip Morris, go to that case. Check it out. I grew up in South Carolina when North Carolina made tobacco. I knew when Camel cigarettes and Lucky Strikes were 15 cents a pack. I smoked Terrapin regular 3 packs a day, and I went to a pipe, Captain Black. I'm still here. Why? Then we look at healthy food. People, some of the nastiest foods you can eat is a chicken. Chicken do anything for food. We can look at it where we grew up with chitlins and hog feet. 10 pounds of chitlins in Sacramento cost you $50. Why? Pork. We never got high blood because of pork because we used salt to get the water out of it and we secured it, which you call beef jerkies now. So where's this healthy food come in at? This is how people put on the can when these days is over is bad. That keeps the factories doing. We know what canning food stayed 2 to 3 years and still was good. Peaches, apples, and pears. So people, tell the people the truth here what you're doing. You're lying to them. Seafood, eat it, people. Because they're going to continue to put a price on it, because that's how the system make money, by lying to you, choosing what you eat, and choosing what you don't eat. That's no proof in that. Go and ask for the research. That's no research there. Why you sell other countries cigarettes if they're killing here? It's the money, folks. You're ignorant. You know, say it killing you, but what's it doing to other countries? That's life, too. The mercy of God over there, too. To every man or woman, God gives the mercy of life.
Thank you for your comments. Plachette Robertson will be our final speaker on this item.
Good afternoon, Mayor McCarty, Vice Mayor Maple, and council members. My name is Plachette Robertson, and I've been a resident of District 8 for 23 years in Sacramento. I'm here to urge you to strengthen our tobacco retail licensing policy and remove the healthy food exemption, which has undermined efforts to reduce access to harmful tobacco products in our community. While I appreciate Sacramento's leadership in adopting a menthol and flavored tobacco ban in 2018, the healthy food exemption added in 2020 has had unintended consequences. It hasn't increased access to healthy food as intended. Instead, it's allowed 27 retailers, many not in food deserts, to regain licenses. Instead, it's allowed I've said that since 2018, a total of 71 new licenses have been issued. The exemption also creates enforcement challenges. Measuring store space for compliance is complicated, and there's no clear definition of healthy food, which opens loopholes for retailers. To address these issues, I urge the council to do the following. Phase out sale of all commercial products in the next 3 to 5 years and start by removing the healthy food exemption. Ensuring adequate license fees to fund enforcement and clean up tobacco waste. Making licenses non-transferable to reduce retailer density, supporting code enforcement with clear, unified protocols. Strong policies can save lives. Cities like Beverly Hills and Manhattan Beach have ended tobacco sales entirely, and Sacramento should strive to do the same. Please take bold action to protect our community's health, especially our youth. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this item.
Okay, thank you. Back to council members. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you very much. First, I wanted to thank all the community partners who have been strongly advocating for a healthier city, a healthier Sacramento, and a healthy future for our kids. What we did here at the city was took an immense amount of leadership with a lot of opposition and a lot of, political influence trying to stop the public health work that we were doing. And we did something that moved the needle not only in our city, but then our county followed suit and the state followed suit. Sadly, I do agree with the staff here, with the presentation and the staff that have identified the data, that this healthy food exemption that was presented to the council it was a flat-out lie. And this idea that we could make an exemption and it would create more food spaces by selling tobacco was not only contradictory, and why it was a controversial vote and a split vote. Unfortunately, at that time, the majority of the council prevailed. But today, I'm here, thanking staff for looking at that data and presenting this information to our council. And as we've seen, we not only did 27 new retailers pop up next to grocery stores, but it didn't address any of the food desert options that were projected. And so, I think it was a farce at the time, and it's important that we immediately move to eliminate that exemption. I'm not even going to call it a healthy food exemption, because some of the stuff that you go into these retail shops, they're a nasty banana and some packaged goods. So with that, again, I think there are a few things that we can do. One thing that we saw from the last workshop we did was that cities that had stronger enforcement on retail facilities of smoking products had a lower amount of actual residents, per capita residents, that were smoking. I mean, and we know already that the disparities in certain parts of our city have worse health disparities. Yet, if you look at that map that our city staff just provided everyone in the staff report, that's also where the retail shops are going. They overlay at the same time where we have worse health disparities. And not only, again, to remind us about some of the potential targeting that was happening in specific communities on tobacco. So, I'm going to, provide some staff direction here. City manager, and again, we're not here to vote on anything, it's a report back, but I want to provide some staff direction that any future prospective tobacco retailers that operate at a business smaller than 15,000 square feet within 1,000 feet of another existing retailer would not be eligible for this exemption. And to go back and specifically eliminate that exemption that we did. The second thing, when we talk about our budget, and we'll have more conversations, the current TRL fees aren't keeping in line with the cost of delivering the service. So our fees should be right-sized for the cost of enforcement. So I want to make sure that staff, this is a direction to the city manager again, that the staff come back with the right sizing of the TRL fees so that we're addressing those issues. And both on the question when discussing those fees, I think of the policy question that needs to come to Law and Ledge, and for Law and Ledge to consider, is whether those TRLs should be transferable. If we're in phasing out smoking in this with particular business that only targets specific smoking, then the question should be asked whether the TRLs should be transferable at that point. The reason that that they have been transferable, particularly, has been because they were grandfathered in as a non-conforming use. But should we allow that to continue if the business intends to close? I think it's the laudable goal, and that we should begin to look at how we phase out our our commercial tobacco products. I know that we made an extensive amount of leadership, and I'd like our city to move in that direction. But on the immediate, we need to come back and eliminate that exemption, address our fees. And, for our code enforcement, our solid waste department, one thing that we've heard from our landfill folks and that we are identifying now is all the tobacco waste mitigation that needs to occur as well. All of these vaping pans that are getting left everywhere, if you sit on the sewer district, you're going to find out how they end up in our sewer stream. You're going to find out how also in our landfills, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem. And not only that, but it's just particularly on the vaping side, how disgusting it is that we just have piles of those in front of. And frankly, if you go on 14th Avenue, you'll find them in front of Hiram Johnson. So, I think, it's important to recognize that we have to take a stronger role in protecting our youth and showing, good, healthy strategies, and not ignore the data that those cities that have taken on stronger policies to reduce these specific retail facilities that all they focus on is tobacco sales have had better healthy outcomes. So I'm going to stop there and just say I want to thank both our staff for doing the diligent work, working with our community and the community partners who have pushed on this issue. And those are my staff directions, since this is an item for discussion as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Talamantes?
I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. This was a pilot program and it didn't work. So I'm okay with getting rid of the healthy foods exemption and also putting more restrictions like other cities have on the number of tobacco retailers. I had an increase of 9 shops on Northgate, and there is 3 grocery stores there. There was no reason for having 9 more tobacco shops on the corridor. And so just agree with Councilmember Guerra on the direction of staff.
Next speaker is Councilmember Vang.
Thank you. I just wanted to take this moment, to thank Mayor Pro Tem Guerra for being a champion and fighting this fight. Council did make this amendment before actually 7 of us were on the city council, and my understanding is that the intent was really to encourage the availability of fresh and healthy foods. But as you see from the presentation today, it's clear that, the amendment didn't solve food insecurity. As I'm looking at Councilmember Maple and I, who chair our Food Justice Task Force, right? It didn't reduce the prevalence of tobacco in our neighborhoods or improve access to healthy foods. And so what we voted on in 2020, the former council, I know that it was a very slim vote. It was a flawed vote, and I'm really glad that this item is coming back to the new mayor and council to have a conversation about this. So I support eliminating the healthy food exemption to ensure that it doesn't continue to be a loophole for tobacco retailers, and also support the direction from Mayor Pro Tem regarding the TRL fees as well. I think research has shown over and over again really just the health impacts associated with tobacco. You heard from folks who have been champions and advocates fighting this fight for a really long time. You heard from Vice Mayor Talamantes really regarding the disproportional effects on underserved communities, especially in South Natomas and Northgate. You heard it from Mayor Pro Tem as well. And we know this is true in terms of marketing, in terms of concentration, right? If you just look on the map, you'll see where they're located, heavily in District 2, in South Natomas and South Sacramento. And so really hoping that that staff will work on this direction, and so that we can begin to phase out. And so really just wanted to take this time again to thank Mayor Pro Tem Guerra really for being a champion of this and bringing this back. And thank you so much for continuing this fight.
Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have a few questions. So what I heard, or what I'm hearing, I think, is that there is a belief that the retailers that currently exist under the exemption are not actually providing the appropriate amount of healthy foods. Can someone speak to that? Have there been site visits, or how do we assess that?
We inspect every tobacco retailer license twice a year, and the ones that have healthy foods exemptions, we do verify that they're still meeting the requirements, but we found that they are meeting the bare minimum. And a lot of the healthy foods that they're claiming is like cereals and things like that, and a lot of them are sweetened, and a lot of it is juice and things like that they would normally sell anyway. So a lot of They are complying, but it's at the minimum standards.
Okay, so then, so what they have, so if they have, like, let's say a sugary cereal, let's say Fruit
The code
Loops.
just mentions cereal, doesn't specify non-sweet cereal or non-sugar cereal or anything like that.
Okay, but that's still meeting our standards.
Right.
So I'm just thinking through this out loud, could the problem be that we have not the right standards? Because if they're meeting the requirements that we set forth, then, from their perspective, they're probably thinking, well, I'm doing exactly what it says, the city says I should do. And then on the enforcement side, so if we determine that an establishment is not meeting those standards, how do we deal with that?
The first thing we would do is issue them a notice of violation, giving them maybe 10 days to correct it. And if not, they could face penalties at that point. They're usually pretty good about correcting it when we do, but again, it's down to the very bare minimum.
Okay, that's helpful. And then I heard a couple comments about distance from schools, them being next to grocery stores. Is there anything in our current code that are under that current exemption that prohibits them from opening up next to a grocery store or something like that?
No.
Okay. And then,
Well,
go ahead.
only with the 1,000-foot requirement. If they have the healthy foods exemption, then it's irrelevant.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful. And then one of the things that came to mind, myself, Councilmember Guerra, Councilman Vang, we have the Fruit Ridge Finger, the portion of the county that juts into the city, where there are parts of my district where you can be on one side of the street and you're in District 5, and the other side of the street and you're in the county. And I think to myself, if we were to go down the road of eliminating this exemption and maybe even eventually eliminating sales altogether in the city, do we know how many of these permits are actually in the county and, for example, maybe in the Fruit Ridge Finger? And it's okay if you don't have that information offhand. That would be interesting for me to know.
All of these are just in the city limits.
Right, but the county also, does the county have permits for tobacco retailers?
Yes.
Okay, so.
I don't know their stats per se.
I would, living in that area, I could tell you that they do have them there. At least there are establishments selling. So I'm just thinking through this, I want to make sure that, obviously we're only in control of what we're in control of here in the city, but just being thoughtful about, what real impacts we're making. If someone, we say no on this side of the street, then they walk across the street and go to the county and then they're spending their tax dollars there. That's just something to think about. I'm not saying it's impacting my decision, but it's something for me to think about. And then my last question is, what happens, so let's say, we decide as a body in the future to eliminate this exemption, what happens to the current retailers who have it?
They would probably be grandfathered in, depending on how the code is written, but the assumption is that they're open already and they would stay grandfathered in. And just moving forward, we wouldn't grant that exemption any further.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions. And, I share a lot of the same concerns of my colleagues. I think it is a problem, and especially representing South Sacramento, it's no doubt. I mean, you can walk down the street that I live on, you can walk down 14th, Freeport, Flora, you name it, and there's tobacco being sold everywhere. And I've walked in many of these establishments, and I've seen kind of a sad banana or apple, and I'm sure that probably qualifies under that. So, my thinking on this is, one, if we are going to go in the direction of eliminating the exemption because, we've determined that this isn't working, it isn't working in the way that it was envisioned, which it kind of sounds like that to me, though I think I need more information to know that, then I'm okay with that. But also, it sounds like if we don't do that, we really need to take a look at what are our own requirements. So, if we've said this is the standard and everybody's meeting that standard, we can't really get upset with these retailers for meeting our own standards. We need to set higher standards, perhaps, and then that might be something that we do. And also just keeping it real here, we're also in a budget deficit. So, any decision that we make on this front may or may not impact the budget as well, right? Because there are still businesses that are operating in our communities, and that has an impact as well. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few years ago, I was actually the author of the county's ordinance to require tobacco products to be locked up in retail establishments. So that, among other things, is indicative of the strong interest I have in regulating the sale and use of tobacco products, especially as it relates to the health of our young people. This does appear, and I appreciate the leadership of other members of the council on this issue. It does appear that the exemption was an experiment that has not worked. In fact, if anything, it's had the opposite results of those who promoted it had hoped. So I share the sentiment of reexamining the exemption and with an eye toward eliminating it. But I would also support at least looking at the other recommendations that are in the SALT Project's letter. Phasing out the sale, I think, is a longer conversation. Multiple parties, there are some different perspectives to consider in that conversation. But making sure, as others have mentioned, that the fees are adequate, looking at the coverage of the waste stream, considering the non-transferability and the unified protocol for code enforcement, I think all makes sense to consider. And I hope that the staff will bring us back more information and more elaboration on those so that we can consider not just looking at the exemption, but those additional steps to make sure that we're doing the best we can to make sure our communities, our neighborhoods, and especially our young people are healthy. Thanks.
Thank you. Back to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. There were some very good points brought up, particularly on the issue of tax revenue and where does tax revenue go. And I think there are questions and conversations that we actually did have. Let's recognize that if eliminating the exemption doesn't cause a tax reduction in this scenario, it creates non-conforming use. And whether they go from the city to the county, particularly like on Stockton Boulevard, where the one side is city, one side is county, or 14th Avenue, is an important issue. But let's remember that when we created the strong ordinance before the exemption, the county followed us quickly. I would not be surprised if Supervisor Kennedy or Cerna again continued that effort if there was a gap in the policy between the city and the county to change the system. So when we did that, the county followed and then the state followed. And in this scenario, all we're saying is let's not let people game the system. So those are important things to bring up, but also to say that we've learned from that. I think where we failed is we took a step back and we took a step backwards by creating an exemption with a sympathetic concern, because we do have food deserts in our area. If it wasn't for Elder Creek Market on Elder Creek and the Avondale Glen Elder community, that area wouldn't have a grocery store. And we understand that sometimes the needs of being able to make those businesses profitable are important. But that's a true market, not what has happened in this. And I don't think the exemption has served us well. And so it's one of those where we just need to move on, get rid of the exemption, and take this advice that was brought in about full fee recovery and figure out how we get to a smoke-free Sacramento. So thank you.
Okay. This is an informational item, but I just want to thank you all for the discussion and wanted to go last. I'm glad, Councilmember Guerra, you're focusing on this, because when I had your seat 15 years ago, we took on the same issue, just talking about tobacco licenses and youth, just focusing on just having them licensed in the first place, restrictions as far as distance from schools and childcare facilities. And so, this is an issue that goes a long way back. And, a few years ago, I will note that I saw the city step up on this. I think you had called me because I was authoring the state law at the time. And the city went first, and that was certainly helpful. We eventually passed the state law, and this is a big issue. I'll tell you, I have 2 teenage kids at home, and I know all about young people and tobacco products and marketing and the flavors and the romanticism about this product and impact on young kids' brains, and all that is very, very real. And so these policies that we're focusing on, they're not just trivial and punishing entrepreneurs. They're focusing on protecting public health. And our most important resource, our future, our young people. So thank you for the update. And I had no idea about this health food exemption. I thought the city just adopted the law. We stepped up forward. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. And I do support you, Mayor Pro Tem, your suggestion to bring this back to look at this policy and what the goal was and what the outcome has been 5 years later. So again, this is a informational item. Thank you for the presentation, and we will hopefully come back to this item in the near future. Thank you. Okay. Next item.
Mayor, we move on to item 23, approval of terms and conditions for interim city manager, and this is your report. Do you have a report out?
Yes, and we do have public comment on this as well.
Do I have 3 speakers?
Yes, and this, we're gonna do it, I think, the proper way today, so you have a little bit more context of what's going on, and then you can have an opportunity to opine from the public. So last week, of course, we had the opportunity to designate our interim city manager candidate, and we spent the final few days focusing on the terms and conditions for this position, and most importantly, I want to thank Lainey Milstein for agreeing to step up and serve in this position for the next few months as we focus on our recruitment. And so for the record, I am reading the official action, which is alluded to in this council resolution, focusing on the terms and condition of her employment. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about what these next few months will look like. And, we appreciate you stepping up and serving this. So here are the terms that I'll read into the record. Number 1, Lainey will earn an annual salary of $352,000 a year. Lainey will receive all the benefits of employment to which the city manager is entitled as set out in the unrepresented personnel resolution. Lainey will be allowed to accrue vacation time beyond the 480-hour cap described in Section 7.2 of the unrepresented resolution. 4, any management time credited to her for calendar year 2025 shall not be forfeited pursuant to Section 7.4 of the unrepresented resolution. Number 5, at the conclusion of the appointment as interim city manager, she can return to her previous position as assistant city manager at the same salary she was earning at the time, and to be appointed at the same time she was appointed as the interim city manager for a term of no less than 1 year. And lastly, Lainey will work cooperatively with the council and assist in the recruitment of a permanent city manager. So I think this was a fair arrangement, recognizing the hard work of our assistant city manager, giving a roughly 7.5% adjustment for the duration of her time serving as the interim city manager. And with this, I'll be looking for a motion to approve this resolution. Let's take the motion first. Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion and a second. With that, public comment first or council members first? What do you think?
Would you like to take members of the public first?
Yeah.
Thank you. And just for the record, item number 4 is regards to any management leave time. I just wanted to clarify that for the record. I have 3 speakers, Lambert, Henry Harry, and Mac Worthy.
Did I skip a word? I read it. Good catch. Yeah, what I said. Which word did I skip? Leave.
This is an interesting selection. I think Lainey Milstein has an opportunity to right some wrongs that have been directed to my family's cheesecake business. I read an article where she knows the insides and outsides of this city. You're talking about a company that's from an underserved community that has gone viral in the state of California. We've been endorsed by the Sacramento, Northeast. I had to ask them where Northeast was. It was that spectacular during the holidays. And I would think that a person with that much knowledge would be calling us, because we have no scandals on us. We have 0 complaints How many businesses can say that? Especially in the food industry, anything can go wrong. Eggs could go wrong, anything. And I think that she should reach out to our family, as well as Mike Josso and the entire city manager's divisions. We have submitted a lot of paperwork here, and people have received no written agreement monies. Some people have received money after scandal after scandal. What's the hesitation? What's the hesitation? We have manufacturing in Southern California, and we have one in Northern. And by the way, cheesecakes appeal to every race, every culture, both sexes. You know what that means? That means supply and demand. You should be motivated, interim city manager, as well as the rest of your staff. We never hear from you. What's the problem? We're ready to go.
Thank you for your comments. Henry Harry?
Thank you, members of the council. You know, every day it seems like we're losing the values that bind Americans together. A strong sense of fairness, respect for the little guy, and the workers who voted and put you in office. So imagine a Sacramento roofer in 112-degree heat, or a single mom working a night shift as a gas station clerk, both making $18 an hour or $144 a day. Now compare that to a top step assistant city manager making $163 an hour, or the city manager making $196 an hour. Both making more in one day than those workers make, both making more in 1 hour than those workers make in a day. And now you're about to vote on how much you're gonna pay another city manager on their backs with their tax dollars. You get to vote your conscience, and I'm 100% in agreement with that. But it's the shadiness of the process that bothers me. It's shady to hold this meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when most people are working. It's shady that you didn't describe the pay and benefits on the agenda so people would know if they should be here, just like you just read them now. The salary schedule for a city manager is $248,000 up to $400,000. So there was some room to reset the stain of the overpaid city manager in Sacramento. We're going to have a search for the city manager, a permanent city manager, and so I would just say that hopefully we can have some meetings early on that issue and not at the 11th hour after you put out requests for applications. Thank you.
Your comments. Mac Worthy is our final speaker on this item.
People, you know, liars don't get too far. They die early. She's a liar. We went to court on her lie, and we beat it. We didn't use an attorney. She participated with the crookedness of the guy that just left here, Silicon Valley. Everybody in that management office, get the hell out of here. Because you are participating in lies. You know exactly who broke the Brown Act. That woman up there knew who broke the Brown Act. Were the city manager under the Brown Act? No, no manager. This reason I said you got to revise the charter in order to get rid of this garbage. This garbage. You sit here and run garbage by people and say, we wasn't ready for this the other time. What did they vote on? You had 3 people didn't even comment, but they voted yes. One man up there used the parliamentary procedures. If he wasn't satisfied, he sustained. That was the parliamentary procedures, all the way to Washington, D.C. So people sit here, and all you're going to hear are bonds and grants. Where is the team going to listen to the person that the clerk choose to come in here? Can we speak to her or he before they get here? That's what the community should be talking about. But just like the man said, you're a whole lot of time that everybody's somewhere else, but it's all right. It's all right. Liars will fail and continue to fail. You will only hear something for kids and bunts and grands. Bonds and grants are all you will hear, and the city keep going down, down, down. Where's the quality work?
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this item.
Thank you. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Mayor. Over 20 years, extensive experience in the budget negotiations, managing the city. This is the CEO job. This is managing more than 5,000 employees and all of the day-to-day tasks of the city. It's a tough job. It's a tough job with a lot of different balancing priorities, including 9 different bosses and thousands of people who all have differing opinions on how the city should be run and how services should be done and what we should do during a budget deficit, for example. And obviously, we have some very challenging months ahead. So I just really want to thank you, Madam Interim City Manager Lainey Milstein, for stepping up during a difficult time, for coming to the table, and for helping lead us through what is going to be difficult, but hopefully we'll get on the other side in a better place, and helping us lead us through also this recruitment for a new city manager. And so I'm just really grateful for your years of service at the city and really looking forward to working with you in this role. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to Delaney and all the assistant city managers for even being willing to step up in this time of transition. As a city, we have a goal of being a great place to live, work, and play, but I think it's important to remember that as council members, the thing that we can have the most influence on is the working environment here inside these buildings. And as a goal for us to be an attractive employer of choice, a place that recruits good applicants, that has good employee retention, employee satisfaction, and good outcomes as a result of all that goodness, I think is a great opportunity for us as we go through the next year and thinking about what it is that we're looking for out of a permanent city manager. So I just wanted to say again, thank you, Mike, Mario, Ryan, and Lainey for being willing to step up for us. We appreciate you all.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. I'll just note that we're very confident that Lainey, you'll be able to help us the next 6, 7, whatever months. But I really want to note the last piece in the terms of this action today is your engagement to finding the next city manager, because you, like all of us, want to make sure we leave the city on a good position going forward, and we certainly have a lot of work to do. And I think we are laying out a good process to how to move forward. So thank you. So with that, please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Aye.
Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Aye.
Councilmember Maple.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Councilmember Vang.
Yes.
And Mayor McCarty.
Aye.
It's a unanimous vote made by Vice Mayor Talamantes and Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and you have a unanimous aye vote. The item passes.
Thank you.
So we'll go to council comments, ideas, questions, and AB 123 reports.
Okay. Councilmember ideas and questions and reports. First up, Councilmember Vang.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to take this time to, as you all know, on Monday will be Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and there are several events happening throughout the city, and really just wanted to take this moment to give a shout out to Blessed Child Neighborhood Association and so many organizations that are helping to actually do the caravan that's happening on January 20th at Luther Burbank High. If you don't know where that's at, it's 3500 Florin Road. Arrival time is 8 o'clock, and the caravan will depart around 9:45. I know that there are other events happening around the city, but giving a shout out to this one because this one is happening in South Sacramento. It is the I Am SAC Foundation, Impact, the National Action Network, police, the Rose family, and also so many other organizations. So really just wanted to invite everyone, if you're in the South area, come join us at Luther Burbank. Again, that's Monday, January 20th at 8 a.m. and the caravan will start at 9:45 a.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson.
Thank you, Mayor. We also are looking to celebrate Martin Luther King Day and weekend in a major way in North Sacramento and District 2. We invite all to come join Senator Ashby, Assemblymember Krell, me, and our squads out there that are just so anxious to spend a day of service in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. at Winter Circle Park. That'll be on Saturday, the 18th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., doing some good work on behalf of the neighborhood and the community. And then, of course, as become a tradition, the Martin Luther King March at Grant High School on Monday, the 20th. We'll also combine that with a resource fair and lunch and strategy sessions for addressing some of the issues we have in District 2 and in North Sacramento. But more than anything else, it's an opportunity to honor the legacy and the memory and reaffirm our commitment to bringing equity and justice, not just to District 2, of course, but to our entire city, region, and beyond. And then thirdly, I just wanted to mention a county economic development strategic plan update, which will occur in a community meeting actually in North Highlands at the North Highlands Park and Recreation office, which is at 6040 Watt Avenue in North Highlands, and that's coming up next week as well. So we're in a city, but we're in a county. And it all has an impact on us and matters to us. So hope you can find one or all those things to join us at. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick announcements. First, this week on Friday, the 17th, Juneteenth Inc. will be hosting their Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest at the Oak Park Community Center. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a really fun event. So they have students and young people from all over compete in this contest, and they give out prizes. It's really fun, so please come join us if you can. And then, of course, as my colleagues have mentioned, we've got quite a few events for Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, the 20th. I won't list all of them because Councilmember Vang did a great job, but do want to invite folks to join us for the first mile that starts at the Oak Park Community Center at 7:30 a.m. We'll have a big group that then joins a caravan that goes to the Sac City College event. But of course, there are many, many, many of these events happening all throughout the city, so find the one closest to you. But if you're near Oak Park, join us at 7:30 in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you very much. I'm excited that this Thursday we will be recognizing the graduation of the early childhood education apprenticeship cohort. And if some of us remember with the ARPA money that we had, the federal money, we were able to create an apprenticeship program because of the leadership of our economic development staff at the City of Sacramento, Janine Cooper, and now helping address the shortage in the workforce that many of our child care centers, our Head Start programs are having to be able to meet the family needs of available child care. So at 7 o'clock at the Fruit Ridge Collaborative, we're going to be saying congratulations to this year's cohort, and excited about the next year's cohort of many folks who are entering the career in early childhood education. So join us at the old Fruit Ridge Elementary School, the Fruit Ridge Collaborative, this Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you. And a big, again, shout out to Jenny Cooper and the City of Sacramento and the City County Child Care Task Force for just, taking every step to make progress in this area.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Just want to give a kudos to Chief Lester and the police department for keeping us aware of incidents happening in the community. We have MLK Day, which is a day of celebration. We also have an inauguration, and so the dynamics in Sacramento are going to be tough. Over the weekend, there was a lot of rumors about ICE being in Sacramento, and a lot of our immigrant communities were really terrified and really scared. Ended up being debunked, and it wasn't true, but it circulated really quickly. And so I just, in the months to come for us as a city, just to be hyper aware of misinformation out there and bringing peace to our neighbors and our community, that we're an inclusive sanctuary city, and what comes with that, during a new administration. And so I just want to give kudos to the police department for keeping us aware of all incidents happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no others, thank you. With that, we will adjourn.
Oops.
Hold on. So, Mr. Mayor, I do have a public comment for
Oh.
matters not on the agenda. City Manager's report, we do not have one this afternoon, and I have 6 speakers for matters not on the agenda. Lambert, Henry Harry, Lloyd Reber, Mac Worthy, Ryan, and then Michael Andrew Barnbaum. Lambert, and please feel free to line up in the aisle. So following Lambert is Henry, then Lloyd.
I'm not sure if we're ready for that. Yeah, we're going to give her this bio stuff. Maya was going to do it.
Yes, I have several kudos for Sacramento. First of all, I would like to thank the KCRA Channel 3. Last Saturday, the Del Paso Heights community just kicked it off by celebrating the Grant High School Pacers winning all of these championships. It was the Del Paso Heights community that initiated that. It was at Grant High School. And shout out to KCRA. If you want to find out how you really acknowledge teenage accomplishments, go back to Saturday night's broadcast on KCRA 3, and you'll see what they did. That was wonderful. It was also wonderful they celebrated the cheerleaders. They celebrated the drum line. These are teenagers. And by the way, I think since it's a love fest for the city manager's office, I think the city manager's office should buy some tickets to the Kings games and let the players who love the Kings go to the games. Their parents go to the games. The cheerleaders go to the games. If you've never won any championships, to the victor go the spoils. If you don't know what that means, you haven't won anything. It's very difficult to win. Why do you think grown adults, when they win the championship, hug each other like that, pour champagne on each other, go crazy? Because it's very difficult to win. And these are teenagers. They should also get job applications ready for them for summer employment like you do other teenagers around the city who haven't won anything. But you make sure they get every advantage. That should happen to these teenagers. These are some wonderful teenagers, and there's some wonderful parents. And don't forget about the coaches.
Thank you for your comments. Henry Harry.
Thank you, members of the council. Now and over the next few years, we have some serious budget deficits. $77 million currently, $86 million next year, $98 million, and $117 million in the coming years. My sense is that we are not fully explaining the impact of this to the public. So I'm asking for a couple of public meetings by the end of January because we should address this sooner rather than later. A strong mayor can educate the public through videos explaining how new spending is getting us in trouble. The new spending on immigration, new spending on violence interruption, new spending on climate action may be deepening our budget deficits. I previously mentioned a reset on the city manager's pay. Perhaps it's time to look at a reset on all management pay, to do a hard reset on overpaid managers across the board. And this type of leadership starts at the top. So I'd ask my mayor to include his $160,000 pay and the council members to include their $100,000 a year pay in a conversation on a management reset. And I'll just end by saying again, when you look at this budget crisis and we know what's coming, it seems like we ought to deal with this sooner rather than later, not waiting until the 11th hour to bring the public in on this. The conversations ought to start now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Lloyd Reber, then Mac Worthy.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Lloyd Reber. I'm here to speak towards apprenticeship and training. So as a member of this community for nearly 30 years and a member of the Drywall Lathers Local 9109 union, I've been able to earn an education, earn a career, free of charge. The training didn't stop with the apprenticeship program. I heard somebody speak of apprenticeship earlier and education, so I appreciate that. The training didn't stop there, though. They have member advancement courses. I've even been able to go out to Las Vegas to the International Training Center for the leadership training, which I've been able to use in my career as well as a member of the community in my church, in my home. And so I just want to ask, as my ask of you here is, as we have construction projects coming to the city of Sacramento, that you would think of the workers on those projects and think about the apprenticeship, think about the living wage that the construction offers them. And when you consider those projects, please consider using companies that offer training, apprenticeship, and then a living wage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mac Worthy, Ryan, and then Michael Andrew Barnbaum.
People, we just looked at a discussion of, they put on helping the children, but it's money. Where would you leave a cigarette and go to marijuana? You back to marijuana. And it's just to show you, they're dying, especially young black men. But we're gonna live with it, and I'll still be here. All the garbage you talk about, Martin King, is damn garbage. I refuse to demonstrate at Morris College of Sumter, South Carolina. Got the hell out of there because you put that dog on me. I'm gonna shoot you. Ain't no ifs and ands about it. We lost our ass as Negroes on forced integration. We fought a war with a surrogated military. We fought a war with a surrogated military. That was a change for Martin Luther King to say, well, you are African American. You're not damn African American. You are a Negro. White boy, Cherokee, and Blackfoot Indian. Who checked the blood test? Nobody. You had to, in 1948, you didn't have the blood test. You had the blood test now to look out, to cover up a lot of bullshit going on in this country. But you won't. You'll cry about $1. You'll steal $1. You'll pay high salaries. I came here with $34 in my pocket off a Greyhound bus in 1960. I went to the $100,000 a year income. How did I do it? Nobody helped me. I went and bid it my own work, cleaning. Trust people. You got my documentation when you first come here, when I was in California cities. Wake up, people. Economics. When you forced integration, you dishoused black families. The mother got the check and the black man was arrested for child support in 6 months. You're going to tell that shit about Martin King? That's garbage, people.
Our next speaker is Ryan, then Michael Andrew Barnbaum will be our final speaker. I don't see Ryan. Michael?
Good afternoon again, Michael Andrew Barnbaum, District 2. I want to speak and thank Council Member Kaplan for your comments about the fires and the firefighters and everything that's going on in Southern California. I'm a Southern California native, grew up and graduated high school in the San Fernando Valley. And one of the blazes that was on the news over the last week that had hit close to my childhood home was the Kenneth Fire. That was in the northwestern portion of the San Fernando Valley. Many high school classmates I still connect with through, mainly through Facebook, that still live in the area, have lost everything. And I know Mayor and Council, one of the biggest topics and perhaps top of mind of the people of Sacramento during the campaign is the unhoused and homelessness. And what has happened over the last week, it just reminds me of how that can happen to people through no fault of their own, but through events like wildfires and natural disasters. And there's unsafe areas that people aren't being allowed to go back to now. And so one of the things we need to keep in mind in care and compassion and our love and protection of people, and to make the mantra of more is possible in Sacramento when we talk about unhoused and homelessness is how did it happen to the individual or the group to begin with? And is it their fault, or is it not any way their fault of their own? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers and no more business before the council.
Okay, thank you. False alarm earlier. Now we will adjourn.